Hi, welcome back to Gray the Gold Witch. Today we're doing a reading on root chakra messages. So we're going to be looking at your groundedness, your stability, your security, really what grounds you to the earth. This can look like where you live, how you live, what you work on, how you work. So we are going to look at these 3 piles. I'm going to link the crystals in the description box because I didn't look before I started the reading. So this is pile 1. It's very beautiful on the inside. I doubt the camera does it justice. Pile 2 is this lovely crystal and has gold back. And this is pile 3. Yeah. I hope you can see it well. So yeah, I'm doing a chakra series and we're starting with the root. And from here, we'll go up the chakras. And I'm very excited for this. This has always been something I wanted to do. I have done it years ago, but I feel my strength as a reader and my strength in my divination will lead to some really cool results here. So I will see you in your pile. Hi, pile 1s. This is your reading on your root chakra messages. So yeah, this crystal is very, very beautiful to me. It's polished, but on the inside you can see the breaks in the crystals, and yeah, you can really tell that this is authentic. This is a real polished crystal done by someone caring and knowledgeable on crystals. So we're going to look at what messages the root chakra has for you. And we are going to move these back because the reading format I've decided to do today is going to take up more space. Oh, let's cover whatever that is. Okay, so we are going to look at what the root chakra has to say. So we're going to do a Cleo from 9 to 7. I'm not going to use that because, and I call it that because there's this movie by Agnes Varda where it starts out with her doing a 9 pile spread or a 9 card spread. And she does past, present, future, but I'm going to allow the cards and the root chakra to communicate in whatever way it feels led to. This is going to be a tight squeeze. Now I thought about the children's thing. It's like tight squeeze, cold breeze. Now I got the shivers. It's like something we used to say. I don't know really where that came from. Oh, lovely. They do line up and you can see them. So on the back of the deck, we have 6 of chalices. The 6 of cups. So there's relationship that has ended in your life that you saw lasting a really long time. And this has caused a lot of pain in your root chakra because it was a place you thought you had stability. And this is one of those things where things leave and it's unexplainable to the human mind, to us as little stardust creatures of the infinite universe or the constantly expanding universe. We can't conceptualize why this happens, why things we love don't stay, and your root chakra saying something has left your life but you're still rooted to your life. You still have, the root chakra is still protecting you. This thing has gone, but you have a foundation of life, a foundation of experience, like even just tangible things like a place to live. You have safety, you have people who will care for you, you have all of these things, and the root chakra is protecting you with this. This is something that is painful, but I think really part of this, what this is really activating in you is fear of security, fear of protection. This is someone who made you feel secure, made you feel protected. And your root chakra is saying you still have that protection, you still have that care. And it might look different, but it's going to be as it's meant to be in this flow of your life. So let's look at the first card, the Tower. Movement for movement's sake. So this thing leaving could be as simple as you moving to a different place with as much security and protection as with less than you had. And there's this part of Clarissa Pinkola Estes, Women Who Run with the Wolves, that talks about if you never step into the unknown, if you never move forward, her metaphors, if you never leave the comfortable, warm home and walk into the forest, into the unknown, you'll never grow, you'll never see what's out there. And this is what's happening here, is you are going out into the unknown. And that is making your root chakra activate in a way that you're not used to, because I think you are used to this normalcy, this not really having to leave your comfort zone with this. And all of a sudden you're being thrown into a place where you're forced to grow, a place where you have to. And Mona, it's okay. My cat just jumped off a table in my home, and yeah, it kind of feels like that, taking a leap of faith. And with this Tower here in reverse, I'm seeing it's far less scary, far less intense than your fears are making it. I see this being something that really accepts you and envelops you and is security. Your root chakra isn't leading you astray. This is taking you somewhere that really maximizes fulfillment and is where your next chapter is supposed to be. You aren't meant to be in one place forever. You're meant to experience new things, and not only like new people, you're also supposed to experience new ways of life, new perspectives on life. You're meant to experience things in ways that you couldn't even expect. And I think that's scary, but this is really exciting, and I think you've been craving that excitement. So we have the Ten of Swords in reverse. Okay, so this is a place where all your egoic mental limitations, all the things you've held, even subconsciously, about how people perceive you, who you are, where you fit in the world, all of these things are going to be released, and you will be able to start and define this as you want to. And this pain, this weight on your shoulders is leaving. It is leaving, and you are having this slate where you can be who you are, who you want to be. this definitely feels like you're shifting your life in the sense that, yes, you have to walk away from things, but this is leading toward your ultimate growth. And I think some things that you didn't even realize were painful, some things that you didn't realize you still hadn't fully processed, you're going to release. And this place, because you jumped into this unknown, this is where you find this peace. This is where you find this nuanced, this ability to really be your true self outside of what you'd been comfortable and stagnant in. You have way more flexibility and way more room to move here in who you are, in what you do. You aren't limited in a way that you didn't even realize these limitations were around you. But once you're in this, you're like, wow, look at all of these possibilities for me. The 8 of Chalices in reverse. This will be something you don't want to walk away from later in your life. This is something that you feel fulfillment in. And I'm seeing like nothing lasts forever. Like you're going to experience new things. You're going to experience new people coming into your life, moving to new places, taking new work opportunities. And this is something that you're going to really, really cherish and love. And it's so funny because it's very easy to feel nervous and feel resistant towards taking this next step, leaving things behind. But it's part of the process, because when you're in this situation and you've lived it and you've gotten what you needed to spiritually out of it, when it's fulfilled what your soul came for, you're going to not want to leave that either. You're going to want to stay in that place or with those people, or even though better is on its way, even though this unknown is leading to growth. And this is a cycle of life. This is something that we all experience. And I think right now you might feel a little tired of movement, tired of you're worried, you're just tired and don't know if you have the strength to start this new chapter. But you're tired because of the situation you're in, the way you're being reflected back to you in your life experience. You are going to have a new wave of vitality, a rush of thrill for life once you take this leap of faith, once you do this. You're not too tired to make this step. Because you're tired, you need to make this step, if that makes sense. So this is definitely something that is much more than meets the eye. Yeah, like maybe this is something like not huge, like maybe you're changing workplaces or moving house, I don't know, but spiritually, fundamentally, this is going to shift your life enormously, and your inner well-being as well. It's time to take this step. So for the second row, you have the 7 of Cups. There are going to be things you questioned, things that were kind of mysteries to you about where you were headed. There was things that you felt like you could never understand or figure out about your life. And this move is going to help you do that. This shift in reality. And yeah, so Spirit, the red The red, the root chakra, is about security, and you're finding security and groundedness in your beliefs, in your fantasies as well. Your fantasies are being grounded, but in a serious way, because you've taken life seriously, because you've made these movements, because you've made difficult decisions. You're able to look objectively at your dreams and at your hopes and at your pursuit of happiness and see exactly, be grounded in it, feel it's a possibility rather than something far away. Like in this Ten of Swords, this person is so bogged down by their present circumstances, they have no way of being able to think about this. But because you're releasing heaviness and stuff you didn't even know was there egoically, stuff you didn't even realize, you're finding this space where you can really look at those things. So we have the Knight of Swords. So you're going to very passionately move towards what feels right, your goals. Once you move into this, once you've taken this leap of faith, you're going to be surprised by your confidence, by your bravery, by your ability to move. You are able to make choices that are very aligned with your purpose and your dreams and the way you're meant to balance and just present in the world. You're going to be very confident in the moves you make, and you're going to make them decisively in a way that you would have previously second guessed. Sometimes when I see the Knight of Swords, I see hastiness and impulsiveness. But here I see that these are moves you've been subconsciously wanting to make for a very long time. And so now you have the power to do so. So you're doing so in a very strong, forward motion way. Like, this is very powerful of you. It's not impulsive because it's been inside of you and in your mind for a very long time. We have the Four of Cups. It is important to know that anywhere in life, you're going to feel apathy. You're going to feel periods of boredom. You're going to feel like you're waiting for a new burst of inspiration, a new path or idea that will bring you this happiness and fulfillment. Because you have had this experience, you know it'll be coming, but that doesn't stop impatience and difficulty having to wait in the moment. And this is the thing, like, this doesn't mean where you're at is wrong. It means that this is part of the process of where you're at. It's like the part, like, grass is always greener. If I was seeing something like, if you have thick hair, you wish you have thin hair. If you have thin hair, you wish you have thick hair. Like, we're never satisfied. And you would feel this way in other circumstances as well. This is like a part of the human condition, part of experience. But the fact you're not liking it, and the fact you want otherwise, shows that there's other parts of life, there's other periods of life that are more fulfilling, more driven towards your passion. But we live in waves. Like, we can't constantly be in that state. We live in flux. There will be highs and lows. And this is a low that we all experience. And it says, I think it's just very important you don't ascribe this to the new environment, new life you're in. I think just knowing it's a reality of life in general will make this easier and better. So next we have the King of Chalices. It's easy to sometimes second guess yourself in these situations. Sometimes imposter syndrome, or wondering if you're up to the task. And it's very important that you realize that the universe, that spirit wouldn't bring you towards this if you weren't meant for it. And this is really an internal battle, because the universe is going to show you, your external life is going to show you that you're prepared for this, that this is what's meant for you. But you internally have to believe that, have to have that confidence, have to show that respect to yourself. And you will. I see you will. It's one of those things where you can't beat yourself up for having these insecurities, but you also have to work towards ridding yourself of these insecurities. And I see the more you make action in the external world that esteems yourself, that makes you feel like you are becoming more true to yourself, more powerful in yourself, that will help you gain this confidence in how you can handle your external reality. There's this self-love and a self-confidence that is going to be a test that you're going to have to balance out and understand. And I see with time, with life proving itself, that your dreams can become real, that you can be who you are. This will continue to grow. 3 of Pentacles. I think there's people that share your vision that you don't even realize are in the same boat as you, want to create the same things you do. And I see that you're going to have people around you who are inspired by the same things, driven to the same things, and it'll make you even more inspired. Because for me, whenever I'm around someone who is really passionate about achieving their goals, it empowers me to do the same. And I think you'll see people who you respect, who are along on this journey with you, who are doing this and who will also help you do this, and you can help them. And it's going to make you feel like, because of your confidence, because of your bravery, your ability to let things go and be who you truly are, you have found what's meant for you. It doesn't get better than that. Having this community, this purpose. Yeah, I just see this version of you developing here that's this very confident risk taker who's very brave and courageous, and community, finding the people who dream the same dreams, or letting people help you, that'll take you very far. So Judgment in reverse. I think you're a perfectionist and think that if you make one mistake or one thing goes wrong, that everything goes wrong. And that's so far from the truth. Sometimes life is just going to throw us curveballs, or things that aren't good, or like things that are negative. That's really, I think, some of the things you feel are only happening to you are happening to everyone. Like, these are parts of the human condition. The Wheel of Fortune turns. We have bad luck. We have unfortunate situations. We have times that we feel like life is working against us. It's part of it. And I think you take it way more personally than it is. It's truth of life. And I think realizing that it's outside of you and beyond your control, and has nothing to do with you as a person, and just is part of the life experience. I think will be really healing for you, because I think it's easy to take it personally when things aren't working out, or you make a mistake. But this is really, a lot of this is the life experience, and it's difficult, it's annoying sometimes, but it's also so beautiful. And you can either look at the good, look at all this beauty that's coming in, or look at the difficulty, look at the struggles. And it's up to you what you want. It's up to you what you want to focus on. And yeah, the power's really in your hands. I was seeing that with the King of Chalices. Like, you choose either to be empowered or to be negative, to be aligned with yourself or not. And this is really the test of this time, is, can you accept life on life's terms? And can you be empowered despite how life presents? I think it is affirming to know that this is everyone's experience, and it's not personal. I think that will help you move differently. So now we're going to look at some oracle cards. Okay. So what does the root chakra want to say to pile 1? Okay, we have spring here. This is things growing. This is life becoming more beautiful, flowers blooming. There's like a lot of joy entering your life, and it's almost like you can't stop it. You can't sabotage this. Your negative thoughts aren't going to be able to do anything. This is a gift from spirit. This is a gift from life. And it's promised to you. This joy and this abundance is promised. So yeah, I think that's important to realize too, is sometimes life is just going to give you ultimate beauty. And that's beyond your control as well as the difficult times. I think becoming more aware of how life operates for everyone, rather than just seeing how it has operated in your life, will be really helpful. Because I think if you look at the big picture of it, it's way more beautiful than whenever you're like very close to yours and don't have space away from what's happened to you. Okay, these are a lot of cards. The Void, Earth's Heart, the Fog, Mars, the Sun, and the Breath. Just like there's so much beauty in life. And this next chapter is really meant to show you that even when you don't know, even when it's almost as though you've looked at life one way, that there's sometimes the emptiness, sometimes you don't know what's going on. And because of this new chapter, you're connecting to life itself, to the natural world also, and realizing what's really meant for you. You're having this awakening and really being able to realize that there's so much to life that's beautiful, and you can fight for that. You can fight for that beauty. You can fight for that to be your perception, and it doesn't have to be focused on the difficulties of life. Yeah, this is really like, I don't want to simplify this because it is a very nuanced experience, but it really is glass half full, glass half empty is what the world is teaching you right now and helping you see. So we have more nature cards, and the root chakra, roots are what builds. From what flowers and trees grow. We'll do a flower and a tree card now. And I think the natural world is really helping heal you. You're the keeper of sleep, the keeper of self-love and strength. This next chapter is all about you growing in your strength. Something simple that really is going to help you is having a balanced sleep schedule. I think we don't realize that if we are tired, things get more anxious, things get more intense, and being on a healthy schedule for yourself, being on a healthy, it's just very good for the psyche and good for self-love. And I think the more time you spend in looking out into this world, into the beauty of it, you'll internally absorb it. Yeah, these wildflowers. I think you're going to become really peaceful and at peace with life's chaos, and that yes, negative things out of your control happen, but look at these beautiful wildflowers that sprouted out of nowhere, and no human did that. I think you're going to start to have that perspective. Now look at animal cards. Yeah, I didn't even realize how rooted in earth this reading, or the cards I picked are. Fire ants, zebra, swan. Yeah, it's one of those things, like, just because there's a ton of people who are greedy or have the wrong values doesn't mean everyone does. Doesn't mean that's all of life. There's so much more to it. And I think the more of the world you experience, the more external beauty and happiness, the more of what you feel what feels true to your inside, like also this peace, this dignified grace. You're going to experience these things, and maybe you've had a lot of fire ant experience in your last chapter. And as you experience this and continue to allow yourself to have these experiences, your worldview is going to expand so much. And it already has. I think this could also be a reflection on how you came to the place that you're at now. And that's very beautiful. Because this process, this is what brings enlightenment. This is what brings peace and true fulfillment. This is a process everyone has to go through. We have to go through this uncomfortability, this pain, to reach this peace. So we have one more card before we close. It's a lot. Let's see. We have Plantkin sensitivity and Star Nation's ancestors. I think the stars are a great place for you to reflect on all the support you have spiritually. And I really see you going to a place that plants and nature are going to heal you. I think that this is part of this new chapter, is moving towards this beauty. And I really see it. I really see it for you. And it being so healing, and you realizing that you don't have to do this alone. You don't have to be the only one to heal yourself. Nature will subconsciously do that with you and help change your worldview. Because this has reminded me a lot of just like human-built life. And this is connecting with the wild world. Also, the sun's here. The sun reminds me so much of fulfillment and positivity and like vitality, oh my God. And that's what you're headed towards. So you have a lot to look forward to. And the things that came up that were things to be aware of, they're just things that you'll be learning on this path. And they were brought up so because I think if I just said all the good things, you wouldn't trust it. You need to know where you're going to be worked on, what's important, because you know that that's a reality here. So, yes, this is what I'm getting for you, Pile 1. It was an honor to read for you, and I will see you soon. Bye. Hey, Pile 2, this is your reading on root chakra messages. So let's get into it. We're going to look at a 9-card spread to see what the root chakra has to say, and then we will get into it. I'm moving these so that everything will fit. So let's see. What does the root chakra have to say to Pile 2? She's Got You High. That's a song from 500 Days of Summer. I used to love that soundtrack. There's a song about they'll make a statue of us and put it on a mountaintop, then say it's all our fault. I can't really remember anything else, but that song is there. Okay, let's see. One more. We'll do this and then put this at the bottom of the deck. Okay. We have the 9 of Cups at the back of the deck. So, the first card we have here is, drumroll please, the 10 of Pentacles in reverse. Not all that glitters is gold, is the first thing I'm seeing here. The 9 of Cups in reverse is wishes not being granted, and the 10 of Pentacles in reverse is I think kind of like egoic abundance not working out. So what this really feels like to me is instant gratification, and almost like everything is not what it seems. It feels to me like you have felt a certain thing would be 10 of Pentacles fulfillment, that a certain success or you perceive a certain person's life or a certain time in your life is that it could have led to this success, this abundance, this comfortability. But this isn't what that wasn't your 10 of Pentacles. That was masquerading as the 10 of Pentacles, but really it was some sort of instant gratification that would continue to instantly gratify, but not long-term gratify. This is something that I think you know it was good it ended. It was good it wasn't right for you. But it did have the veneer, the illusion that it had all of these great qualities, all of these great things. And Spirit's really saying your values weren't in it. This isn't the step you were meant to take, the rules you were meant to break. It feels, this feels like being very caught up in appearances and status and really soulless values. And you're meant to be bold and take up space, but in a very soulful way. And there's this part of Women Who Run with the Wolves who talk about how the gilded carriage can come in and it looks beautiful, but it's sacrificing hard soulful work for something that looks easy, and that leading to soul, like drying up the soul, like the soul not feeling nurtured. Like that could be marrying someone for their money, or taking a job because it looks coolest, or being friends with people because you get something out of it. It's very transactional. I'd say this Ten of Pentacles is very transactional. And it had the veneer, for you, I really think it had the veneer of this will lead to excitement, happiness, like dreams coming true. And I can see clearly your dreams wouldn't come true here. They wouldn't even begin. This feels like a very barren desert that was pretending to be this like green, grassy garden. I'm trying to think of an example of that. Something kind of like artificial, something Disney World like, but like Disney World's great, more so than just the veneer, the faking of it. It's so funny, we were talking about a carriage and the chariot came out. Yeah, so full steam ahead. I'm thinking this, the only way for you to move forward, you to go towards your goals, was for this to fall away. Nothing could have started with this. This was the beginning point. When you, I mean, I love that there's a car here and headlights. If you'd been in this situation, it's like your headlights wouldn't have been on. Like the car wouldn't have even worked. I think it would have been, you would have been stuck there trying to reach this new place. But it would be impossible. And this place would pretend to have whatever you were trying to get towards. It really is. This was, oh my God. So, you know, I'm trying to think of a good example. In Ariel, there's the Ariel who got tricked by Ursula and loses her voice, and then the Ariel that Ursula turns into to try and win the prince. It's almost like this was the fake Ariel. This was Ursula. It was something bad masquerading as something good. And it might be a societal thing. It could be something in society that is bad, but it masquerades as good, or it's normalized. And it makes complete sense. You would feel egoically confused here. Because if everyone else, it's a cognitive dissonance. If everyone else thinks this is normal, it makes you feel really second guess yourself if you realize it's not. So some things are normalized that just aren't. And so much of that is in capitalist society and in material society. And it's very hard to exist in a visual-based world with unrealistic standards. And you're moving away from that and into something much more soulful. We have Six of Pentacles. Max, don't do that. Max? Luna? So the Six of Pentacles really is where you can give and receive and find love, and it's at the end of this drive. You had to leave something behind to come to this receptive, beautiful energy. I don't think you were receiving here. I think it was an illusion that you were getting something out of it, but really it was taking. And it was by leaving this that you're able to receive. This is where the soul stuff came in, and people who also had gone through this experience. You're meeting a lot of people who've been through similar experiences and can commiserate and relate to you. And it might not always be with like complete awareness of what this relating is, like this leaving of egoic societally idolize things. But when you were experiencing these things, they were so dry and they hurt you very badly. And I think you know that that's what this would, your soul couldn't exist in an environment like that for super long. You needed something more plentiful. For some reason, I'm like, it felt pitiful. Like I felt pitiful being in it. And you're so strong to have come to this receptive, caring area. But you will have, you won't innately feel like in your soul like this, like you miss this. I think it's things outside of you whispering that. And those things are not the Six of Pentacles. They are not involved. And discerning this from that, your new life from your old life will give you a lot of peace. Okay, let's look at the next. On to the next. Eight of Pentacles. Yeah, so I also talked about this, I think, in the last reading in one of the piles about the red shoes and being able to build a life of your own. And the gilded carriage is in that story of being seduced by easier things that really take away from you, that imprison you. This is how you move towards creating the life of your dreams, making your dreams come true. And it's by gaining this independence from those kind of environments. And this is where your best work is done. And it couldn't have been done in that soil. It's like thinking of that place you were in, that environment, as really dry soil that didn't work with your seeds, couldn't grow there. So at this new place, you can finally grow and be nourished in an empowered way. This is where you grow the things you always dreamed of. What you thought was one flower that you could have there turns out to be like many flowers you grow. When you were there, you couldn't conceptualize how far you'd come, how far you'd go. But it had to be in a different way, in different circumstances. And this is so soulful that when you reach this fulfillment, you won't be worried or like thinking about how people from that past or how that like society views that. You'll be living it soulfully and in the day-to-day, and it won't weigh you down in that shallow way. So, the Hanged Man. Honestly, you're going to use these experiences as material for your work. You're going to use this energy and transform it into something creative or something that wisdom that you use in your life. You're utilizing that time. So don't feel it was for nothing. Don't be mad at yourself for putting yourself in a dry, ungiving place, because you'll be using that as fuel and material for this abundance you create. This is all lived lessons. This is life lessons. And you're really not going to be jealous or upset about people from or places or things, or you're just not going to have any of those feelings, because you'll see how blessed you were to leave and that nothing was left there. There was nothing left. And anything that tried to stay around there was just wasting their time. The Ace of Swords. I'm hearing when you know, you know. There's also, I have been loving, there's this song by Lana Del Rey in her last album. It's called Peppers. Hands on your knees like Angelina Jolie. I'm obsessed. Like, I don't know why, but that song just, I love listening to it. And sometimes I feel that way about songs. But there's a song in that album called Margaret that talks about this guy meeting the person he falls in love with and just knowing immediately it's who's meant for him. And I think that's how you'll feel with the true fulfilling things that are meant to come into your life, the environments you're supposed to be a part of, the places, the things. You're going to feel that resonance of, you know. And already you have this knowing that you are in the abundant path. And there is something about feeling a little bit vulnerable to some gossipy or judgmental energy. And you're really meant to extract your energy from those places and try your best to avoid those interactions, because they're just negative vibrations. And even if you have to, sometimes we're forced to be in situations like that, just not feeding into them, not letting it have any power, not trying to confront it, more so just releasing it and letting the universe handle it for you. So we have the Knight of Pentacles. I see being so fulfilled in your day-to-day life, and even at the pace you're going, even if you're slowly going towards your goals, slowly adventuring through this forest that this knight is adventuring through, you're going to feel you're going to just really enjoy the journey. We talk about how it's so easy to fixate on the destination, on the goal, on the end result, the end game. You are someone who's really enjoying the way there, the path there. For some reason, the inn in Ella Enchanted, when they go to this giant's inn and drink with the giant and they're really tiny, that's coming into my mind. Just having some adventures on your way there that was just an experience to be had, and you're going to have those on the way here. And I think that that's something that is especially beautiful, is that you can see the beauty as it happens and not be tunnel visioned on the end result. I'm thinking there's this person I heard say, when I look back, it's an old guy, when I look back on my life, I regret the times that I lived it like I was in a speedboat. And really cherish the times I lived like I was in a sailboat and really enjoyed the scenery and the water. And it was when I was in the speedboat that I really missed out on all the beauty around me. And yeah, that's just really beautiful. Maybe this was very speed oriented, but the path you're meant to be in was more present, more lived experience. We have the Four of Pentacles. So with all things we have, there's going to be things that come in that are really helpful, but we're also going to have things that test us. And I think that something that's coming up is you are going to struggle with feelings of security and feeling like holding on to things in your life. I think because you're used to things flowing out, when you really like something, you might hold on too tightly to it. You might hold on too tightly to, but like this isn't in a way that you are affecting your outside life negatively. It's like internally you are causing yourself a lot more strife than you need to by holding on to people and places and things with fear that they'll go. If anything, this just distracts you from your work, distracts you from creating. Because if you're busy trying to protect all these things, you can't really move and do what you're meant to do. Just looking at this guy holding on to all these pinnacles, no way he can work on his flowers when he's holding all of these pinnacles and trying to keep them protected. There's a trust that has to come with, if things are meant to stay, they'll stay. And if they're meant to go, they'll go. And not trying to hold on to all of this, because I think that was the hard part of leaving this situation, was trying to hold on to it. And it's so beautiful you've left. You've moved on psychically. But even with experiences from that time or things, you're just really meant to not hold on too tight. Yeah, people talk about living life like a loose garment, not wearing it too tight. And I like that analogy. So finally, we have the Page of Pentacles. Okay, there's an opportunity coming in that you'll be new to, you'll be new at. And it's so funny, like in life, you can be the Knight of Pentacles going towards your destiny on a psychic plane, but materially in work or in whatever you do in your pursuits, you might be in Page of Pentacles energy. Like we can hold so many things at once and be so many things at once. And I see this coming in for you, and it being something that you receive and that you're knowledgeable at and confident in. But it's very important you accept the fact that you are new to this, that you have a lot to learn. Be open to learning more about it. This is a new thing that you haven't experienced, and it's going to bring you so much fulfillment. But it's okay that you have a lot to learn. Don't worry about needing to know it all. Just observe. I'm seeing this guy observing the pinnacle and seeing what it will do. And I think you're meant to look at this opportunity in that way. Just seeing what will happen rather than feeling like you have to do anything massive or huge or interrupt what's going on with it. Just really observe, and you'll know how you're meant to move. So we're going to look at tarot cards now for ya, or oracle cards. So let's see what this oracle card, what these have to say. So we have the zebra and the swan. there's a song that's like, what do you want from me? What do you want from me? And blah, blah, blah. For some reason, that's coming into my head. You don't have anything to prove to anybody, is really what's coming out here. You might sometimes feel like you have to play this role of this refined person or of this adventurous person. And the main thing here, Spirit's really saying and wants you to realize, is you have nothing to prove. You innately are this bright light. You have nothing you have to give to anybody. Don't feel like you have to play a part to be validated. Just be yourself, and that'll make it easier for you to see what's not meant for you, because Spirit's going to align you with things that connect with your true self. So if you're feeling like you have to prove yourself in any way, then this is not meant for you. This is not what's right for you. You don't need to look a certain way, dress a certain way, have certain things to talk about, be knowledgeable in them. You're just supposed to be you, and the rest will follow. So if you ever feel, and there's a complete difference from enjoying learning about things and enjoying dressing up and looking, feeling confident and feeling like you have to. There's doing it for yourself and doing it for other people, and Spirit's really saying it must be for yourself. So let's see what the tree oracle cards have to say. We have Keeper of Balance. Yeah, so I think this time is you balancing your inner reality with your outer reality, experiencing things outside of yourself that are true to your inner self, and realizing when your inner self conflicts with your outer self, and always choosing what's inside of you, because you want to express yourself from the inside out. You don't want the outside world to define who you are internally. And I think that 7 is really a number of interiority and being true to yourself and having that personal self-awareness. And that's what you're figuring out right now, is how to take care of yourself as you navigate your life. So let's look at the flowers. Strength. Yeah, I love these wildflowers. I think that it's just like I love them in general, like on mountains. They're so naturally, like they naturally spring up, but they are just so precious and perfect looking in like nature's garden, the wild garden. And I really see you being meant to live in this way, of just being naturally, organically yourself, rather than feeling like you need to be curated in any way. Curation is not a part of your story, is what I'm hearing. But it might happen, it could be, but it's not meant to be. So we have Sublimation Pluto. Yeah, you have to go through this difficult change, through these experiences, to become enlightened and rise into your true, expand into your true self, and have the soulful power you are meant to have. I see you have a lot of power. You have a lot of potential, and these were obstacles in your way to getting there. They are a part of this journey that you're going through the woods. And yeah, I really see this all working with you in the way it's meant to. Like, you're meant to just let it work on you and not resist it too much. Even with this opportunity I was seeing with the Page of Pentacles, I don't think it's a permanent experience. It's something you're meant to experience and see what happens with. And more will follow. It's not you're meant to accept change and know that things are always meant to be moving. Mercury. So there's something about expression here that's really coming to mind. Really, I think these experiences are formative in your expression, and your expression is going to do a lot to further your growth and be a big part of your life's work. Expressing yourself through words, also through other things, but words really are coming out. And I think this new opportunity is helping that in some way. But I think you'll be in communication, and the communication will feel right. There's something about communication feeling aligned that will be, being aware of that will be really helpful. So lastly, we're going to look at these cards. Storytelling. Yeah, I think a lot of this, your past experience, is bringing you to be able to tell these stories and have this wisdom. And this next phase of life might be towards that. Towards telling these stories, towards experiencing life in some sort of abstract way with a medium that makes us able to observe life from a different perspective. Like when we look at art, we're able to learn something new about life, or see life in a new way. Same with writing, or same with any sensory experience. We learn different things in different ways, and you're doing something that helps other people connect in a different way than normal, if that makes sense. We have Seer on the back of the deck. Prophecy. You're meant to really let yourself live this journey and experience it and enjoy the ride, and not worry too much about where it's headed, what's going on, where you're going, and really let it happen and trust in it. When you close your eyes and you meditate and you really feel it, you'll have trust in this path. So yeah, I love this stone. It's very beautiful. I was talking about the desert earlier. That might also be relevant in some way. So that's what I'm getting for you. Pile 2. It was an honor for you. An honor to read for you. And I'll see you soon. Bye. Hey, pile 3. If you chose this beautiful guy, then this is your reading on root chakra messages. So this is the start of a 7-part series on chakra messages, and this is the first because it's the root. Yes, so we're going to look at what messages it has for you. Hands Off Gabriella by Cat's Eyes in My Head. Okay. Okay, 2 more. And then the back of the deck is 9 of Wands. Hands off. 8 of Wands. want to make sure we can see more. So, what I'm immediately seeing with the Nine of Wands is, and this is like the traditional meaning of the Nine of Wands, but it feels like your guard is up in regards to some communication. I think you don't trust some of the communication that might be coming towards you. I'm thinking about like fake friends in high school or middle school who say one thing but say something else behind your back, or you're thinking people you covet or you really care about something you've written and you don't want judgmental eyes on it. Really, you are guarded towards communication. And in some ways, this is good because you aren't letting false information or like bad vibes to interfere with your life. But you're also you're trying to set a boundary, and that's good. I don't know. I think we need to get into the cards to see what Spirit wants to say. The Hanged Man. I'm hearing it's not what they think about you, it's what you think about them. And it's almost like you wouldn't be worried about this if you knew the reality of it. If you knew the truth, you would feel a sense of relief. Not relief, but that insight would make you feel less guarded. There's something here about not having the full perspective on someone's intentions or how someone reacts or acts, and not to put as much weight on it as is coming across. Eight of Pentacles. Yeah, there's something about your work, especially you wanting to stay guarded, and there's people you don't want to talk to. There's things you don't want to have be perceived with, and Spirit's saying focus on your work. Don't focus on these negative energies outside of yourself. Focus on what you love to do, what brings you fulfillment, what's right for you, and don't worry about these people's opinions or what these people have to say or the energy coming in. Protect your energy and trust that there's nothing you have to fear here. There's nothing you have to worry about. This is unfolding the way it's meant to. There's a Taylor Swift song called Dear Reader, where at the end she says, you should find another guiding light, but I shine so bright. And I think that's one of the things is like you have this very strong light, this life force, and something I've heard before is all lights attract all kinds of bugs or something. So yeah, there just might be some that you're not vibing with, and that's okay. It's okay not to. But don't take how they perceive you or how they feel as any indication of your worth. I think you're very good at, you have your internal worth. You have strength and self-esteem in that. But every once in a while, there's something that can come up that triggers something from the past or makes you wonder, just second guess yourself. And no person should have the power to do that to you. Really, no person should have that. And I think what Spirit's doing here, I think, is making you realize no one should have this power, taking that power away, giving that power back to yourself. You have the Emperor in reverse. I think what's coming through here is the reason you're guarded is you don't want to feel disempowered. You don't want to feel disempowered in what you do. And that's totally valid. I think Spirit's saying it's totally valid to feel this way. I think one thing that's really important is you to observe this fear and observe why this could still disempower you when it shouldn't have that power, why this still has that effect over you. There's this movie, I've talked about it before, David Bowie's in it, Jennifer Coolidge, I think, is in it. It's about this maze, and at the end, this labyrinth, maybe it's called the labyrinth. At the end, she tells it has no power over her, and then she is able to get free, which I really don't even remember that movie. I just remembered that's the moral of it. And I think that's kind of what's happening here, is you denying something its power, you looking something head on and not being afraid of it, and that releasing you from its grip. And you can do that in a boundaried way by not putting yourself in a position that causes you pain, but more so observes why this is happening, and also that you don't want to be around it or you don't want to see it. And that's totally valid. I am experiencing this right now I'm working somewhere that I'm running into people from high school, and I really don't want to see them. And I also don't want them to perceive my life and where I'm at. But I know internally, and my truth is that I am doing amazing, soulful things that really align with my life, and I'm headed towards my goals and dreams. And this right now is what I'm working on, or where I'm working is a tool to get me there. And I'm happy to have this as a vehicle to get there. But I'm worried people think that it's there, like that's where I want to be, or that's where I am. And just I don't like other people having control of my narrative in my eyes. But in reality, they don't. I have control of my narrative. And what other people say really isn't my business. And it won't affect me because I know the truth. And my truth is out there. I don't know. That's what's coming up here personally. So we have the 10 of Pentacles. Yeah, pile 2 might be relevant if you felt called to it. This situation is dry and does not have the values that you need that are meant for you. And really, this is completely meant to take the power away from it, to shrink its power, and to look at other people's judgment and see it for the farce it is, because you know your truth. That people are going to feel some type of way, but it's not the truth. And I think every once in a while when people feel a certain way about you, you internalize it when that's not the truth at all. That's not their truth about you, is not the truth. And that recognition and that absolution absolving yourself of their narrative, that will be very freeing and will help you as life continues, because you won't, as you meet new people, as you experience new things, you won't let their opinions influence you. Only the people you care about, who you know have care for you. That's another thing here, is you might have this, but there's certain triggers that come up. Like for me, high school people, from when I was at a place in my life where I was really insecure, that's when I knew them. So that side of me is kind of coming up. It's kind of being triggered by that. And that can happen in different circumstances where you are brought back to an experience that was intense or difficult. Spirit's saying don't put too much value on perspective here, because all perspectives come from individual places with individual needs and wishes and drives, and people are just life is just gonna happen the way it is, and we can't control those things. We can't control narratives. So if you're doing something that is helpful to you, helpful to your path, let yourself, and don't let other things come in the way of that. Yeah, these boundaries are really important. The Wheel of Fortune. Sometimes people like it when other people are struggling. Sometimes people like to watch another, like preying on someone's downfall. But everyone goes through these periods of difficulty, and when you look at somebody and their humility about it, that is really the main thing that you think about. And I think that really the thing here that you're meant to practice is humility. Humility of the situation you're in, not letting it be humiliation. You are a person who is experiencing the life you're meant to, experiencing the things you're meant to. Your soul is driving you, and you are a person. You are humble because you know you're just a person experiencing life as everyone else. You do not need people to perceive you as greater than or less than, or really anyone's opinions. You're just meant to have humility towards the situation that people are perceived. Life is perception based, and I think that working on this, experiencing this, is going to lead to a lot of healing. I think there's a lot of humility that will be coming out of this, and realizing that everyone is in the same boat. We're all equal to each other. No one's more powerful. It's all illusion. It's all perception. And yeah, take a shot every time I say perception or perspective. Just kidding, don't. That would be really, really lethal. So I think the more you lean into this humility, this freedom of just being a human, doing what a human does, it's going to be liberating for you. 6 of Wands. Yeah. I think this is really preparing you for victory, in the sense that you won't worry about other people when you come into soulful victory. It'll feel completely intimate between you and spirit. You won't wonder what is being thought. You'll just know what's true to you. That's really what's happening here, is you knowing your truth and being able to live in that, live in what's true to you and your heart and your soul. not having to explain yourself or do anything to appease other people. As long as you're taking care of yourself and not hurting yourself or hurting other people, you should live your life as you want without anyone else influencing that. Your karma here, you're really coming into major victory. And a large part of this karma is because you're letting go of other people's response to it and really keeping these things as connection between you and spirit. And I think that's something you're meant to do in situations that cause you this anxiety, is take a step back, look at the bigger picture, and see that Spirit's trying to teach you something. Spirit's trying to work with you. Spirit's not trying to put you in a difficult situation or cause you pain. This is meant to lead to something more powerful. This is to make you grow more powerful in yourself. So we have the Knight of Pentacles. This came out in the same position for another group. I think that Spirit's also just saying this is one step, one experience in your journey. You're looking at this, and I think you're kind of making the situation bigger than it is. It's something you can definitely put in its proper size. It shouldn't have that power over you. It shouldn't have. I don't know. I just feel like I said that weirdly. Yeah, see, like, even I, right then, second-guessed myself, and it's just part of the human condition, and now we're all just people trying to do this human thing, and this is like a little experience that won't matter to you months from now. It's just what's happening now. And as long as you rely on your relationship with Spirit and your truth, knowing what's true to you, and not letting outside whispers and opinions affect that, you're going to feel that humility, stay in that peace, and not be disempowered. You're going to be empowered because you know where this is taking you. The Empress, you know where this is taking you. Yeah, this is a lesson in humility. Right-sizing yourself. Because you do this, you're going to reach this really balanced place where you're able to shine even brighter because you have had this practice in humility. Not realizing that we're all just doing the best we can. There's so much in my mind about shining bright and letting yourself just exist in your soul force. And I don't think you're meant to think much right now. I think you're meant to be. Be yourself. Be where you are. Do actions that feel aligned with your soul. Don't overthink. That's Spirit's advice anyway. And yeah, I really resonate with this pile. Seven of Wands. Oh look, they go together. Spirit's saying we're always going to have stuff we need to work on, always have things we need to fight for. And this is part of life. But when we do difficult things, we don't need to be worried about who's looking. I think that the main thing here is don't worry who's looking, just be. Don't worry. Just do what is true to you. when you act in these ways, you're doing something intentionally for yourself. Even as I'm seeing this guy walk across this, and each step is so intentional and also intense, a hard step to take. And really, you have to be focused on your present moment, not worried about outside noise. So we have the 9 of Wands and the 8 of Wands I noticed here. So we can see the story unfold. Yeah, if you focus on what is true to you and are able to block out that noise, you're going to be able to find communication and connection with people who share your story, who've also done this, who have also had to, figure out ways to protect themselves. It's like kind of circular, like the more you let your guard down, but also protect your boundaries and, trust in spirit, stay focused, you continue to find better ways to do all of it. It's like a process of doing it and continuing to do it. Because life, like, things don't just happen once. You'll continue to experience this and learn. But the more you do it, the better you'll get at it. So, okay. Yeah, I think mastery is something you're really learning about here. Mastery of yourself and of the experiences you have. Mastery of self-containment, of self-esteem. And this is something this might be an experience you're having that you've had a ton of times, and you are super self-aware that this is happening. And you're just meant to remember that this is the lesson that comes with this experience. What you're experiencing, you're right, this is what is meant to happen here. And it's also like this is meant to propel you forward into success and the soulful success you're meant to have. And you have to let go of these kind of earthly things to really accept that from spirit. So let's see what the animal cards have to say. The Swan. And we have the Fire Ant. So funny, these cards have come out. The piles must be connected. So Fire Ant reminds me of conviction. It reminds me of groupthink. Kind of herd mentality. And I see you, oh my God, it's like the ugly duckling story. Like, you're surrounded by these things, but you're a swan. And you don't need to explain your swan-like nature to the ducks. You can just be who you are and embrace it and shine. And it's almost like the only way this situation has power is if you give it and let it matter, because you are this bright, brilliant, graceful, defined, actualized person who deserves all of the love, all of the good things that you have. And your focus should not be on this situation, these things. I'm really seeing, it's kind of like DBT. Whenever I learned this in therapy, and it's so cool, it's like realizing a negative thing is there, acknowledging it, but not focusing on it, letting, say you're having a party and there's a really negative person there, accepting that they're there, but not feeding into it, focusing on the good. That practice has really helped me in detaching from situations. And yeah, I really see that this could be an experience that comes from the past and is overwhelming for you and brings you back to a less evolved state of mind. And being aware of all this is really just the most important part, because you're able to work with it whenever you know something, a cycle's happening, or you're learning something, you're going through a difficult lesson. It's once you realize it's happening, it makes it much easier to get through. So let's see what the tree cards have to say. Keeper of beginnings. Keeper of the wild. See, this is so cool. The wild nature in you is what wants to come out. And you're meant to let go of these things and move into new beginnings. And that's the whole point of this, I think, is that you have. But you want people to know and feel it exactly as it is happening in your life. You want them to see how beautiful this wild experience is for you, and how these new things just bring so much peace and happiness into your life. And they don't need to. You have nothing to prove. Absolutely nothing to prove. You are so beautiful and powerful and loved by the universe, and these things, this just really isn't significant. So, but it's easy for this to feel it when it felt so significant in the past, if that makes sense. You're just a very, very lovely person with a big heart, and things can come back, ghosts can come back, and you don't have to give them power. Rose, intimacy. Yeah, I think that maybe you were vulnerable with things, that it gave power to things that were negative. And now it's important to, and I think you're vulnerable with things that are protective and helpful. And maybe you feel vulnerable in an unsafe situation right now. And you don't need to feel vulnerable, because they aren't really seeing you, and you can't show them your truth. No one ever is going to fully understand it. So it's like when people don't like you, really trying to get them to like you. It's like really needing them to see things your way. Sometimes just people aren't going to. And that's something we can live with, you know? We can DBT it. We can see that as the negative person at the party and accept it, but then focus on all the people who do understand and are thrilled. And that's what really matters, is focusing on them. So let's see if there's any alchemical cards that want to come out. Of winter, Neptune, sulfur, moon. Oh, this is really beautiful. You have the people who are meant for you. You have them. And you need to face these harder truths, face these colder things, these colder experiences, to find what way you're meant to go, what you truly believe in, your true purpose, what you truly care about. There's negative things always around us, just life. And if we stay balanced in our spiritual truth, in the truth of the universe, how we're special yet I don't want to say unspecial, but we are like this living paradox of being the universe and being a part of the universe and being significant and also being not. It's just like we can hold all of these things at once. All of these things can be true, and you get to live your truth. You don't need to worry about other people's truth, if that makes sense. As long as you know your truth. People aren't always going to understand, and let them misunderstand. It's really not your business. Yeah, this is a message that's I'm glad to hear it, because it's something I need to hear. So we have humility and protection. That's so cool, because we were talking about humility, and protection was what we started off with, was protecting yourself from these negative things. And to go back to that protection is really important and really good. And we see the same trees in this humility card. You can protect yourself and do it from a place of humility. I think that's the goal here. Protect yourself from a place of humility, not from a place of ego bruising. Know that you are this human who is living your path the way you're meant to, and protect yourself from anything that comes that way. But know that protect yourself from it, and knowing that it doesn't need to affect you. You don't need to give it that power. So yeah, pile 3, this was really cool. I think this is very much, you have one life. Don't spend it worrying about people who never were going to be good to you anyway. Focus on what is good. Yeah. Well, this is what I'm getting for you. I hope it resonated, and I'll see you soon. Bye.